I was upgrading small things at first, like that was a stutter. Yikes. Here we are, 4 years later, doing a dev diary retrospective. The idea of doing an upgrade for TITANKIN didn't really cross my mind. I was working on the next thing and I figured, okay, I'm gonna use TITANKIN as a base since it's already a great engine, RPG Maker MV. It started with small things at first, like changing how the battle UI was laid out so that you could quickly get to the guard command rather than having to go all the way down through a command list. You can just press right and confirm. Then I moved on to larger tests, like having skippable cutscenes and fully animated enemy sprites. You know, for me, Breath of Fire is a huge inspiration. If you look at something like Breath of Fire 4, those enemy sprites are silky smooth. I knew I wanted bigger and better for the next title, so I picked the biggest thing I could find in TITANKIN. Spoilers for the hidden boss in TITANKIN Prologue if you have not played it or would like to keep that surprise for yourself. Go play the game and then come back and meet me here. So it turns out, yes, I could get something that was basically half of the screen to animate and not tank the engine while also having the full party. My next test was having 6 enemies fully animated while the party was also fully animated. So that meant having anywhere from 8 to 12 frames of animation per cycle per enemy, and then having the party fully animated, which is anywhere from 14 to 22 frames per cycle. It was a pretty substantial test, but I was so happy with the results that I was like, okay, well, what if I did this for all of the enemies in TITANKIN? Couldn't be that hard.
Several months later.
One thing led to another, and I couldn't have, fully updated enemies and keep the same UI because I had new ideas of what I wanted to do. And so it just, So everything from the user interface to all of the character portraits, there's tons of new animation, there are whole new characters, adding animated effects on the field like these flowers, or animated water. One of the other exciting things that I got to build into this new version of TITANKIN Prologue is the ability to skip cutscenes. If you've played Final Fantasy X, you already know where I'm going with this. Alaska. And the cutscenes in my game are not short. So if you happen to die in a battle or you're up against a boss that you're not ready for, you could be sitting in front of, 3 or 4 minutes of jamming on the confirm button, which kind of sucks. So the mandate was to get a cutscene skipper working, whether I've got to make it myself or find someone who can help me out. And this pre-made, what's the word for this thing? Plugin. You know this. So I have to give a huge shout out to Fallen Angel Olivia. She already had this thing built and it works perfectly. And also just a huge shout out to the RPG Maker community in general. There's just such a wealth of knowledge and sharing. Whether that's, plugins or art or just even seeing other people's projects and hearing how they problem solve. And again, I want to say thanks in general to everybody who's played the game or left a review or, again, why is it this one? I just want to say, and again, why is it this one? It's a thanks. It should be easy. Thank you. Genuinely, thank you to everybody who's ever, expressed enthusiasm about the game, left a review, anything. It's meant a lot. When I conceived of this game over a decade ago, I never imagined it would sell beyond, mum, maybe 10 or 11 friends, and it's found its way into 29 countries around the world. Touch my face. I'd really like to give thanks to each of those 29 countries. So, get ready. Thank you. Argentina, Australia, Brazil, nope. Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Belgium, Canada, China, nope. Do it again. Argentina, Australia, Austria, Brazil, Belgium, Canada, China, Czech Republic, France, Germany, Indonesia, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Mexico, Netherlands, Portugal, Peru, Poland, Russia, Spain, Taiwan, Turkey, UAE, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Ukraine. Thank you. Again, I never dreamt that my brain baby would make it anywhere outside of Canada, so I'm so thankful and energized, and I really can't wait to show you guys what we're working on next. I'm so excited to share it with you in the not too distant future. So yeah. As like a thank you. God, this is rambling. Anything. Ugh. Animating and used Jesus. Small things at first, like oh God, using TITANKIN as a base. Did I make a face out the side of my mouth? Quick fingers that want to get to the menu. Then I moved on to larger text, like text. 8, 10 frames of animation. Not that important. No. From things like, no, don't touch your nose. This is basically when I conceived pizza, but